All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the delays. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to our first ever Tech Talk 2024 by Sagesoftsolutions, where inspiration meets innovation. Hi, my name is Wally, and I'll be your speaker for today. I am thrilled and ecstatic to have you join us as we take on a journey, a wonderful journey towards the world of technology and innovation. In this series, we're going to deep dive into the cutting edge trends that are reshaping our everyday lives. From cloud computing to artificial intelligence to cybersecurity to data analytics. For our first ever episode, we're focusing on the topic that's not just important, but absolutely critical. In today's digital landscape, the most important thing that we have to understand and we wanted to have is cyber resilience. As a technical engineer, my area of expertise is mostly on utilizing the latest tools in the market to achieve business resilience. Last year, we stepped foot on the post-pandemic era, and majority of our businesses, unfortunately, is trying to revive their loss. And some of those businesses did not make it. Now, people try to overcome this tragedy by doing all sorts of gimmicks. Unfortunately and sadly, for some of those gimmicks, it's not actually good and not actually morally upright. In our digital era, data is the newest treasure that everyone wants to get in touch of. Let's cite some cases. One of the victims of cyber attack nowadays, the most recent, is one of the biggest HMO here in the Philippines. Who are they? Any guesses? This happened recently, last June 2024, due to an alleged unauthorized access that resulted to 13,000 members of the named HMO. 13,000 members got their data stolen. And according to the sources, 33.3 MB, which is actually a small portion of the data, but if you extract that, it's actually 22,800 lines of sensitive information is reportedly sold to the first three buyers, amounting to a lot of millions of pesos. Imagine that. In just 33.3 MB of data that was extracted to a database is worth $1 million to us. Who would have thought? Another case. Who would have thought? The world's happiest bee would be actually sad right now because of what? Data breach again. Reported last month, June 22, Jollibee's database got breached by allegedly cybercrime group named Spider. Kind of judgment name, Spider. And claimed that 32 million of personal identifiable information or PII was actually just extracted from their database. Well, according to Jollibee, they're currently doing some investigations, and they see that all these informations will not stop them from doing their job, serving happiest and making their customers the beta one. According to the dark web intelligence, the database is sold amounting to how much? $40,000. That's actually 2.4 million pesos here in the Philippines. So wow, solved, right? That's a big chunk of money for getting those number of database from Jollibee. Last example for me is one of the cyber attacks that recently happened also this year is from a public sector. This time, this is the most saddest one because this public sector is the one who should be implementing, mandating cyber security here in the Philippines. So what happened? Because of their mandate to protect information for our country, they even get infiltrated by this third party or bad actors. How come? Why did they let this third party act and get what they want in search for different types of information that they wanted to publicize and eventually what? Sell it also again. Profit. Gain money. Right? How big? How big was the data got from them? 2 terabytes. 2 terabytes worth of data, including future projects, planned infrastructures, and the worst of all, budget requests that should be hidden from the public. You know what? When the public always see a number between the project that they wanted to produce and how much they have to spend for this project, people might say, how big is your budget have? Why do you need this kind of budget? Does it align to what Philippines really need right now? So it does not just stops the problem in your daily lives, but actually added to the fire with all the problems that we currently have right now. So by the end of the day, it affects social political activities that impacts negatively. According to a cybersecurity magazine, that yearly our economy shifts due to cyber attacks that cost a lot of companies, conglomerates to be exact, $1 billion. Imagine $1 billion to $10 trillion yearly due to just protecting themselves from cyber attacks and eventually paying those ransomwares to get their data back. It becomes more profitable than the global trade of major illegal products, or specifically illegal drugs. So can you imagine how cybercrime is much bigger economy than selling drugs? So now you tell me, how cybercrime is not a business nowadays? With all those cases recently, why do we continuously get attacked? That's a question. It's another big question for us. Why do we let these people attack us? Of course, we will say, it's not our intention. Hindi po namin gustong maatake tayo. Nobody wants that. But then again, every single day, every year, there's always a cyber attack that is happening, not just here in the Philippines, all over the world. So what is the reason why we get attacked? I can cite you the reasons why. Of course, there's a lot of people involved in this. Cyber attackers, scammers, phishing software, phishing sites, and so on. This agenda of theirs is so simple that they gain monetary gains from it. That's the first reason that they want. They want money. So that's number one. Number one reason that we get attacked is monetary gain for those third parties. Number two is they have to know their competitors. So there's actually a reason behind that: industrial espionage. So what does espionage mean? It's like a big word for us. For us, it just means that you just wanted to know information versus those competitors that ahead of you or probably below you, understanding what they do, understanding what they have, and basically getting leverage over them. Sino nga ba ang magsasabi na yung kalaban ko na parang parehas lang kami ng binibenta at parehas lang kami ng market, yet parang sobrang layo nila. What's the secret ingredient? Ano bang magandang example dito? Si Mr. Krabs ba? Tsaka si Plankton? Something like that. So how do you prevent this stuff? Let's discuss later. Also, one of the reasons why people get hacked again, very minimal on Philippines, but it still happens though. Hacktivism. It's one of the new coined names from Merriam-Webster. Hacktivism is actually infiltrating the data of any individual, group, and an institution. And eventually, when they got that specific information, they give it out to the public. They inform the public that, hey, this is the information that this organization has, and they're not sharing it. It's because it's probably something social political impact. Will give a social political impact towards our daily lives. So people let them think that they're vendetta. If you're familiar with V for Vendetta, no, they wanted to experience things that they wanted to educate these people because they see that these people has no idea how big a group of people can manage the world right now. So they wanted to inform things, but eventually, what's the cost? What does it cost? Not just money, but of course, the lives of people at stakes. Of course, there's also two other reasons personally that I wanted to innovate, elevate. Number one is curiosity. The reason why we get hacked as well is some of us wanted to manage how does this hacker do it? Why do they need to do it? I mean, we know that they wanted to do it because of this kind of monetary gains and so, but how can they do it? Why can't I do it? Right? So most of the people right nowadays, they actually innovated this so-called curiosity. And then eventually they explore this. And typically it's one of the best paying job here in the world. And we all know that not cyber hackers, but ethical hackers, that's the correct term. Ethical hackers. We have those ethical hackers understanding how the mindset of a specific hacker does it currently. It's like in an FBI. If you're an FBI agent, you wanted to understand how the criminal mind works. Same goes with hackers. They hire those hackers. They understand what they do because they know how to do it as well. Then eventually try to stop it by understanding if I was the hacker for you, I may be doing something like this. I will infiltrate one of the systems, one of your endpoints, and eventually crawl down into your network, and then finally get into the holy grail, which is your databases. And lastly, the saddest one is unawareness. If people wanted to be curious, some of us they don't care. Yeah, it's like, nah, already have the tools, I have already gadgets and so on. I will not get hacked. I'm okay with it. I'm fine. But when it happened, it's like there's nothing that we can do to stop these people. So I don't want. I feel that we owe this to the world to understand that hacking is something that you can be beneficial, but at the same time, you can stop them by doing it the negative way. And stop the negative way of using term hack, right? So that's one of the reasons why we get hacked. So getting aware is the first step to innovation. It's one thing. Understanding why we are getting hacked is a good price to understand it. right? So now let's move on to the one of the biggest question as well. How do we stop them? How do we stop these hacks? So whenever we share solutions in Sagesoftsolutions to our clients, I personally follow the 4 key points. So number one, I tell to our clients, they have to be empowered, they have to be educated. So knowledge is power. That's one of the greatest thing that the late Ernie Baron said and mentioned to us. But although Cersei of House Lannister might have a different perspective towards that. So Cersei might say that power is power and knowledge is different for power. But now, in the digital era, I don't think there's dragons anymore. So, well, it's actually information is still here. Information is still needed here. So, in order to stop the exploits, you have to understand how attacks happen, as mentioned a while ago, how it happened behaviorally, yeah, and what you have to do if in case it happens to you. What you're gonna do? Are you gonna panic? Tapon mo na lang ba yung endpoint mo so that you disconnect to the world or something? So something like that. One of the things that I wanted to understand is, I want you people understand is, with all the information, with all the connections that you have to compile that. You have to understand that all those information are very useful. But if you don't want to, utilize that, it's a zero effort for us. So with all those informations, compile it, then eventually collect. You can collect those information and then make the right decisions. It's one thing. Before you create a good decision, you must first understand your playing field, right? So second, maintain and innovate. The number one is to empower and educate. Number two is maintain and innovate. So those two are actually different things, but I actually connected them both. Why? Because if you don't understand how to maintain your system, eventually it will back down. It's like any mechanical thing, or possibly if not mechanical, probably yourself. Let's make ourselves our examples. If you do not give proper time for you to innovate and to maintain yourself, your value on the outside world will depreciate. Same goes with other things. What is the latest version of iPhone right now? We have the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Yeah, it's the very latest version of iPhone. So, does iPhone or Apple stops from creating new products for them? I don't think so. So they don't stop just by maintaining the status quo. They understand that in technology, there's no level of playing field. They always have to push forward, create new, and make things better for their business. So we have to make sure that we follow the latest tools and trends, and we keep our system up to date. It's the best thing. Most of cybersecurity tools out there that you can avail, their updates are actually free. So eventually, if you wanted to understand what is going on, what's the update, what's the patch, you actually need to read some of the patch notes. Okay? So there's one thing, it's a good thing, right? Make sure what you have availed are updated. At the same time, part of the update is the security patch measures. Be mindful of that. All right. The third thing, we have to equip the right tools. So we understand, we have educated ourselves. What would be the best thing that to understand what is happening, what would happen to us? So something like that. We have to educate. Second one is to maintain and innovate. Then the third thing is equip the right tools. This is the easiest part, actually. You just have to pick up your phone, actually go online, click some of the links that you actually look for cybersecurity tools. Then eventually you see a product. Then you try to call those people and demonstrate it to you. Hey, how is it going? How do I get this to my system? So that's the easiest thing. People will serve you of those tools. But the hardest part of it is, how do you know that these tools that they are offering is actually aligned to your agenda? Is it aligned to your objective? Are they really needed to your system? Or are they just adding it to you because they need to sell it? No? So what we understand here is that here in Sagesoft, we very much have the right mindset, the right tools that we have right there, and you need to be able to cover your day-to-day business. So those are the objective that we understand whenever we give out solutions as well. If you're looking for solutions, you probably can catch up with us, can connect with us in Sage. You have the right tools, the right mindset for you guys. And number four, our last reason how to stop is you being proactive. You have to be proactive. You have always to stay on your toes. You don't need to be complacent. You know why? Because being complacent is actually a friend of being lazy. So you don't mitigate attacks by simply waiting to get attacked, right? So eventually, what you do, you should be on your toes, as mentioned. You should always be on your toes, since bad actors don't stop innovating as well. So imagine if you see that yourself that I am fully equipped with all those cyber security tools that I've already availed online. I'm very carefree. However, you as a person who's actually every day using your business, utilizing your systems, you don't care anymore because you've already paid a lot of amounts. So for us here in Sagesoft, we always tell to our clients that with all those tools you have in mind, here in your system, you always have to keep your on your toes. You always have to be proactive. Since bad actors don't stop from being innovating as well. Always make sure that you have to protect your admin accounts. That's one thing. Um, People nowadays tend to say that with all the cyber security solutions that they have already entered in their system, they won't get hacked. It's solid proof. Everybody can tell you that. But understanding how you access your system is actually the part where hackers get you. So another tip for me is you always have to grant least privilege to your admin accounts. Never tell your passwords. Very basic. Whenever we hear a commercial from any banking solutions, any banking sites, never give your what? Your OTPs, your one-time passwords. Always change your password monthly. So those things. Because those things are a fine line between you accessing your right account or accessed by bad actors. So always be proactive on that. Okay? All right. So for for me to end my talk, I wanted to give you a quotation from a very famous person who's actually a vice president and a chief information security officer of SEB. It's actually a Societe Generale International Bank in Europe. He said that, end quote, it takes 20 years to build a reputation in a few minutes of cyber incident to ruin it. So I leave also this question to you guys. Are you willing to give out your personal information for a small token that you can receive from any third party? Or will you be hiding and self-incriminating to achieve inner peace? Thank you. To end my talk, I would like to give a special thanks to our partners, WebRoot and SecureWorks. So whenever you have any businesses that you wanted to protect, can come and reach for us, Sagesoftsolutions, and let's talk about your security. I would like to invite you once again to join us on August 22. Our solutions engineer lead will actually be discussing about fortification against cybersecurity. Once again, this is Wally, your speaker for today. Welcome to TechTalk. Your inspiration meets innovation. Thank you.